Hey guys, it's your boy Trey, aka TAKK, back to you with a Chrono Core TCG video. So, this video is going to be kind of a how to play, how to get into the game. In Chrono Core TCG, you are a pilot that is manning a chrono to be able to battle your opponent and win the entire field. So on your pilot, you have 10 health. On your core, you have 20 defense. What you're trying to do is reduce both those numbers on your opponent to 0. Another way the game can end is if you're unable to draw a card at the beginning of the turn, you deck out and you lose. Now, this allows for a type of play which some people like, some people don't, called milling. Basically trying to force your opponent to draw or discard as many cards as possible so that they can't draw a card at the beginning of their turn at some point, so you win. So basically, in this game, you're going to have a 50-card deck that consists of one pilot, one core. Now, each of those has a chassis type, which is lightweight, midweight, or heavyweight in the top left corner of their card, and those have to match. Also, you will have 4 or 5 Mark I cards in your deck, which will consist of weapons. You can either have 1 two-handed weapon or 2 one-handed weapons, and then you'll have 3 equipment, which could be greaves, visors, or gauntlets. Those Mark Is are the only ones you'll have in your deck. The rest will be other equipment, Mark II to 4, configurations, and support cards. You also are allowed to have a 10-card side deck. That can only have different configurations, equipment that are Mark II through 4, and support cards. They are also allowed to have 1 core that still matches the chassis of your pilot, but no pilot cards, and no Mark I cards are allowed to be in there. So, when getting into the game, the entire premise is to use your core charges, which are determined by your equipment. They tell you exactly in the top right corner how much core charge they give you at maximum. And that resets every turn. So those core charges are what allow you to play cards, to be able to upgrade your equipment, upgrade your weapons, and to be able to play configurations that go onto your equipment or onto your weapons. Each equipment slot or weapon slot is only allowed to have 1 configuration on them. You can also play those configurations face down. You still have to pay the core charge, but then they can be flipped up at any time that you have priority in the game. Support cards can be played as many as you want, as often as you want on your turn, and as long as you can pay for them through the core charge. Most of them have a like one-time effect, and then they're immediately discarded. That's very consistent with any other card game. Some of them do have lasting effects, and they do stay on the field. So, basically, while you're playing, you're utilizing all of your core charge or, some of your core charge to be able to boost up your chrono or attack your opponent. And so, getting into the game, there are 4 phases. There is a reset phase, where you kind of untap, unrest, unuse all of your cards. There's a draw phase. That draw phase, you obviously draw a card from the top of your deck, unless it is the first turn and you're going first. You don't get to draw on that. Now, during the draw phase, there's also a unique thing called voiding cards. You can void 1 card from your hand face down in the void area, and if you do so, you can draw another card. So you get kind of a built-in filter to your hand, which is kind of nice and keeps the game fresh, especially if you got some dead cards in your hand. After that, you can play cards as you see fit, and then, try to attack your opponent. There are a lot of, I won't say abilities, they're basically abilities that are on the cards. So they consist of a bunch of different types, like active main. Those abilities can be activated during your turn. They have on reveal. Obviously, when a card's flipped, it just activates at that point. And then they have, on attack. When you attack, something happens. And then you have things like counterattack, counterplay, where if your opponent plays a card, you can use counterplay. If your opponent attacks, you can use a counterattack. Now, with these abilities, they do have keywords with them, like you'll see overshield, power burst, things like that. You are only allowed to activate a certain ability once per turn. So if you have an on attack power burst ability, you're able to activate that. But if you have another say power burst ability that is just active main, you're not allowed to use that again. So you got to be kind of strategic as to when you use things, how you're using them, and it kind of adds to the fun of the game and making sure that it keeps it kind of fresh for you. So also, on your first turn, when both players, neither player can attack on their first turn, you draw 5 cards. This game gives you a partial mulligan. So that means you can take as many cards out of your hand as you want, put them at the bottom of your deck, say if you do it for 3 cards, draw 3 more cards, and then you shuffle your deck. So it's a partial mulligan, instead of a complete mulligan like other games, or some games don't allow any mulligan. And there are a ton of keywords in this game. Luckily, each keyword actually does come on the card with its full explanation, so you're not going to have to try to memorize every single one, which I greatly appreciate, especially when you're a new player, especially when you're trying to get into it. Eventually, you're just going to see Overshield and know exactly what it means. Power Burst, know exactly what it means. Firewall, know exactly what it means. But when you're getting started, it's really, really nice to be able to just be able to read exactly what it talks about. So now also getting into some of those abilities, they may have an associated cost with them, and that does require your core charge to be able to pay those and then tap them. When it comes to attacking, you also initiate the attack, and then you resolve all the effects. If your opponent has a counterattack or counterplay ability, those resolve as well. After you're done attacking with said weapon, you do tap it or rest it or exhaust it. There's so many terms for it that you can kind of use any one of them. Now, one cool ability that I really, really think is a unique aspect of the game is with your core. If your core gets down to 0 defense, or you're able to play one Mark 1 equipment or Mark 1 weapon on your turn, you get to flip it over. It is a double-sided card. You get to flip it over, and it's called being overclocked. It has completely new abilities on the back, and usually they're super, super powerful and game-changing. So that kind of adds a little bit of when do you try to defeat your opponent's core and reduce it to 0? When does your core get reduced to 0? Can you play a Mark IV equipment or weapon, which usually have an immense cost between, I've seen 6 to 8 core charge. So they're not easy to get down, and you really got to work up to getting those amounts. So I am super, super excited about this game. Really pumped. I hope that this helped you a little bit. If you do have any questions, make sure to leave a couple comments. And if you want to see more how-to videos like this, just let me know, and I am very willing to complete them. So I hope you're excited about Chrono Core TCG. Let me know, what pilots you're thinking about using, what cores you're thinking about using. Are you lightweight, midweight, heavyweight? What's the ideal for you? And as always, I appreciate your guys' support. Make sure that you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to click the little bell that's with it too, to be able to get alerts for my future videos and any other content that I have coming out, whether it's Chrono Core TCG or another one of the TCGs that you're looking for and are really interested in. Otherwise, guys, that's all I have for you. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.